Hey everybody, Ace Maven here with the Vox Machina tutorial on piloting the Overhaul. The Overhaul is a pretty heavy grinder in the game, and it has two fixed weapon mounts, and it has the Hummingbird Drive on it. So I'm going to show you a little bit about this grinder, its heat and its fuel, and a few tips and tricks for piloting it around. Alright everyone, so this is the Overhaul. A couple things about the Overhaul. First, heat and fuel. So I loaded this one with two 8 missile packs. I'm just going to shoot a bunch of missiles here and watch the heat come down. So heat dissipates kind of slowly but fast enough that you can work with it. It's not too bad. Fuel recharge is pretty decent in an Overhaul, given how much you actually use the fuel. That's actually not that bad. So fuel recharge is pretty good. It's not, of course the fastest, but it's not bad. The Overhaul has fairly decent armor on it, so it can take quite a few hits from weaponry. However, it is prone to damage by ramming. So if someone's coming in for a ram on you and you're in an Overhaul, try to get out of the way, because like we like to say, it has kind of squishy innards. So it's very susceptible to ramming, which also, if you're in a hopper or a gold rush, is good. So if you see an Overhaul, it might pay to try to ram it instead of try to shoot it to death, because you're almost guaranteed to kill it if you ram it halfway decent. This is the only grinder that has two fixed weapon mounts, which means you can run these missile packs. That's 16 missiles. Obviously, you can switch these up. You can run Skyjacker, like just being shot there. You can run the hammers, which is just that. As usual, a lot of people tend to group the same weapons. It's easier to sort of like get in the groove of how you're going to be piloting it if you're running the same weapons, but certainly you can mix them up as well if you'd like to. One thing that's takes a little getting used to with the Overhaul, which is one of the nicest features, is of course this Hummingbird Drive. So the Hummingbird is a hover mode. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and activate it. There we go. And you see it puts me a certain distance off the ground. It does not use any fuel, so you can run this the entire game if you want to. But of course, to get around in this mode, I would need to use my jets. Okay, kind of like a hovercraft. And then I can turn off the Hummingbird and I will fall to the ground. So what can this do? Why is this, something that even matters? If I'm hovering there, what's the difference than just standing there? Why don't they just shoot me when I'm hovering? Well, it's actually can be pretty handy, especially in like two ways. One is it's nice to actually get some momentum. So because it's a hovercraft, I like to think of it like a hovercraft, you can actually get some decent speed going in this thing. Remember, it's going to keep you the same distance off the ground the whole time. So let's see, I'm going to go this way. But I'm cruising right now, okay? This is going like pretty fast, and it's not even as, fast as it can go and stuff. It'll take you up over some of these rocks as well. I didn't even have to hit my up jet to go over that. I just kind of cruised over it. So, I mean, you can kind of, once you get good, what I like to say is learn how to dance in the Overhaul. Because if you can learn how to get around using your Hummingbird more than even your legs, you can be at a pretty good advantage in terms of sort of getting in, getting out, making it really difficult for the enemy to hit you. And just sort of keeping on the move, just keeping on the move. So you see, like, you can just kind of keep flying, floating, coming in and out, staying above the action. You know, it can be hard for them to sort of like keep track of what you're doing when you're just sort of floating around with the Hummingbird. And then if you do need to come to a stop because you don't want to get completely out of the action, well, you can hit a rock like that, or you just turn it off and you'll land on the ground. Another thing about the Hummingbird is an escape situation. So say someone is coming in, or I just need height, and it doesn't have to be escape. But because it gives you a sort of lift, a launch off the ground initially, then you hit your jets upward, just sort of pull up, you can get a pretty decent vertical jump in this thing. So I'll just demonstrate that now. I'm going to hit my Hummingbird first, and then I'm going to hit my jets. So Hummingbird, jets, flutter a little bit, and you see you get a pretty good lift, you know, because your Hummingbird gave you that initial push. So look how high I am for a full tank, and that wasn't even, I would say, an optimal jump. But you see, you can really get up here. Now, you're not going to hover up here, okay? You only hover that distance off the ground, so don't think you're going to come up here and be hovering around. This isn't a neutral buoyancy thing. But look, here's impact. I got my Hummingbird on. No damage, okay? So you can almost come down screamingly hard and not have to waste fuel on like a final, you know, upward jet. To save yourself. Just leave your Hummingbird on. Alright, so that is the Overhaul.